You're fun to talk to. I'm trying to force myself not to be sick. And you are the Spartan 3K world champion. Now, should you be called the 3K world champion? Should you be called the 2023 Spartan World Championship? This came up the other day on Race Brain. Was the 21K just a fun in the sun for the rest of the boys? You said, skip that fucking one. I don't want that low change bullshit. I want the 20K.
That's right. Where'd the big money go? To the 3K. To the Spartan World Champion. So
what do you think? Joking aside, what do you think?
If I was putting it in my Instagram bio, I'm not saying I'm the Spartan 3K World Champion. I'm saying I'm Spartan World Champion.
Let's go.
On my resume or like my little media kit that I can send out to potential sponsors, it says Spartan World Champion, not Spartan 3K Champion. So originally that was supposed to be like the title event. And then the 21K was supposed to be like a thing, and we'll have a championship there, but it wasn't like considered a Spartan World Championship. They were just going to have a higher payout event while it was there. So I don't know. I mean, I'll let the prize money do the talking, but I'm just happy with what I did. I went to win that event. I didn't care about the beast. The beast looked awful. But I got to watch some of it, and that was as much as I wanted to do on that day.
So I think this has been we'll forget the mindset question. We'll get back to that later. I want to talk about this idea of specialization. And I feel like you were probably one of the first to not just like, let me just go wherever the race is. Like that's kind of the mentality of the Spartan racer. Well, here's a race with money. Let's go. Here's a race with money with some eyeballs on it. Let's go. And you were the first to kind of say like, I'm not fucking with beasts. And people like me even might have been like, pshaw, that Veejay, how dare he spit on our beasts. And you're like, no, this is what I'm training for. I'm training for X, and it has been paying off. So let's talk about that. Last year you won what at OCRWC? I can't even remember now.
Money wise, or the event?
No, what race? I can't even remember.
The 3K.
You did, which is what you went to do, right?
Exactly.
Was that 2 years ago?
Well, I won it 2 years ago as well. So, like in 2021,
Kempson didn't win it.
He won the 15K.
Okay.
Yeah. So rewind here. 2021 was the year of the U.S. National Series that I had that good year. Did well there. Won the 3K that year as well. Blew up in the 15K. I had the tool bag to win that event, and I just bad strategy and raced that wrong. But then the next year had a plan to just go win everything. Like I was going to go like typical Spartan racer. Like I'm showing up to every distance, and I wanted to win all of it. And I was on a good roll there. You know, I started by winning the super in the beginning of the year, won the beast in Mexico, and then unfortunately got one of the side effects of living it up in Mexico. And that kind of trashed the rest of my year. And I still was dealing with that through a decent amount of this year as well. Like I still couldn't really maintain a high level of like training, like a lot of volume. Every time I would kind of push up into that volume, I would either my mindset would fail and I would get sick, or I would kind of like my body would just give out, and I would just feel like total crap for days on end, and I'd have to kind of bring things back down. So it was pretty low volume like this year. If you look at my running volume, like easily the lowest in the sport of all the top dogs, I was running the least. So the 3K was kind of where I could compete. Fortunately, it was the competitive series, and that's where they were paying out, and I could actually perform well there. But that's about all like I could sustain work wise. I don't think I was the fittest athlete this year. There were other athletes that were training better and were more versatile and capable. It's just my skill set and my racing experience lends really well to the 3K.
So who won the series this year?
Manuel Defoe.
Not even Rylan.
No, Rylan missed the finals in Palmerton, and then I don't know if he finished top 5 in Mexico. He was having a bad race there. So yeah,
And
the
then
same thing that happened to him in Abu Dhabi also happened to him in Palmerton, almost
and
the
then
same way.
and then who won the Pan American Championship 3K? You.
Yeah.
Okay, so you won that, and then you go to. So now we go to Saudi. This is not your sorry Abu Dhabi, not your first time there, right?
Nope.
And what did you think? First of all, I feel like we kind of haven't heard a lot about Abu Dhabi. We heard a lot that first year about the crazy motorcycles the night before and it not being what we thought it was. Has it
Mhm.
been better the last couple of years? Has it been a better race experience?
The new venue is awesome. I'm a fan of it. It's not that far from Abu
Al
Dhabi,
Wathba?
like Al Wathba, the luxury resort in Al Wathba. It's pretty cool. It's not like the crazy scenic venue that you would have expected, like from the very first year. Like we saw those huge, massive dunes that were taking people 15 minutes to climb and that sort of thing. That's not it. Um, but you come into this like really cool area and they have like all these cushions and pads and everything where everyone's hanging out. It's very luxury. You got drinks, you got like people selling stuff. It's pretty fun. It's a cool place to hang out. It's probably the most comfortable venue that I've ever been to where you can actually relax in the shade at a venue and not like hate yourself. It used to be I would show up to race, and if I won, I'd be like, yes, but now I have to sit at this shitty venue where there's nowhere to chill, there's no shade, there's like hardly any beverages to get a hold of, and I just got to suffer through it for the next few hours until the podium. That sounds really shitty, but I'm just giving you know, a perspective on it. So big, big fan of the venue. I like it. It's kind of like tough for me specifically, or at least other athletes in the US, because it's a full 12-hour time shift. Like you were racing in what it would be the middle of the night for you normally. So getting there a week ahead of time was a big move. Be able to dial in sleep by the time we got there. So I went straight from DEKA World Championships in Dallas and flew directly
Yeah,
over to.
I didn't even talk to you, I feel like, after you raced on Friday. I was like, where's
No, we had to
Veejay
get
go?
out of
Oh,
there
he's donezo.
pretty much. Yeah, hung out there for a little bit, bounced, and we were on a flight that night a few hours later after the race on our way to Paris.
I don't even remember, how did Decafit go for you? I'd have to look it up.
Well, fortunately, Kent dropped out and gave
Yes.
me a free
Let's
fifth
go.
place.
All right. I mean, no, sorry. Sorry,
Nah, I felt
forgive me.
bad for him. I knew he was feeling bad, but I think he made a smart decision. But then I was able to snag a top 5. So pretty cool. But I got Deca boned again.
Deca
Every
boned.
I haven't had a smooth race. Every race there's like something that
The bike
happens.
was too high, the feet were too tight. I talked about some of these issues.
Dude, so when we got before they started the race, all the dudes started running over to adjust their seats and they're like, you can't do this right now. And we were like, okay, so what are we gonna do? And they're like, we're gonna set all the bikes to the left at 8, all the bikes in the middle at 9, and all the bikes on the right side at 10. And we're all like, yes, let's do that. So I'm like, I need one of the bikes on the right side. And if I can't get one, I'll go to the middle, 9 or 10. 10's ideal. 9, we can make that work.
Right.
While they said this, there was one female out on the course still racing. And she came into that station, set the seat for herself, or they brought the seat down to women's height and they didn't bring it back up to the men's height.
Right.
So I ran in and all the bikes that are set at 10 are taken except for one on the end. And I'm like, okay. So I run in real quick and I hop up on the bike. I start going. I get a few calories in. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And my bike was at like, I think 5 or 6.
Oh boy.
Which that's the lady's height right there.
Right.
And I'm grinding out and I'm like, and I start really working hard. I'm like, I can't lose a lot of ground here. And I worked my ass off for like a 90-second air bike. I could not get the thing to stay over 70 RPMs to save my life. And I was really going after it. So I came out with like extra pumped legs because I was basically pedaling in a full squat the whole time. Um, and I lost a fair amount of ground there. Not saying that I would have got on the podium or anything, but I think I could have put up a little bit of a better fight. Um, and maybe got closer to that fourth place position, but it is what it is. I wasn't going to win it, so
But I just
wasn't too
think
upset.
that's so crazy because the decision they come to, the right one, they're set to 0, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the answer. But why you would think if what you just said, like half on, it's like, no, but that only works. There's it's still fuckery for people to get there at different times. So why if the most obvious solution was the most obvious solution 3 years ago and a week ago? So I just don't know why it would take them that long to go, oh, what if we just reset them all? And the same thing with the rowers. Like it's pretty simple. Like I get a damper has to be set, like that you have to pick, but for stuff like feet size and for feet you unloosen everybody, start at 0, and for seats you go all the way to 0. Anyway, I'm glad they fucking figured that shit out. So
Yep.
But I guess my question is, since you're not the guy, you're not a guy like Rylan or Rogloski, who just like they're gonna race where the race is. Like you are a specialist, more of a specialist. Why did you think you needed to go to DEKA? You just thought my fitness is there, maybe I could snag a top 3, and it's not gonna fuck with my 3K training or whatever block.
My goal was I thought I was good for a podium at DEKA Fit. Just the year didn't go as I planned. Training kind of fell apart in the weeks leading in, like the months leading in. And I found myself, instead of being like, my fitness is good all around, I can sharpen up for DEKA Fit, and then my fitness will just carry me through Spartan Race because that's just what I'm good at. I don't even need to focus on it. Like that was the plan.
I'm Veejay Jones, Spartan Racer.
Right. So I was like, specialized for DEKA Fit, and then who gives a shit? It's a Spartan race. I'm going to handle business.
I'll know what to do there. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'll muscle memory that shit.
That's right. Absolutely right. I'm built for this. So it didn't work out that way. And I found myself kind of having to make a decision, like, what do I want to focus on here? I am limited in my fitness. I'm going to need to maximize what I have in one of these things. And it wasn't going to be DEKA Fit, something that like I'm unproven in. And if I come out and I light the world on fire, $3,000. All right. Say I set the world record, $3,000. All right. If I have a decent race in Abu Dhabi, I can win it, $20,000. So I made my decision. Right. I decided, like, put your eggs in the 3K basket, like sharpen up for that. Make sure that you can move well. Make sure you have your obstacle skills dialed in so you don't take any chances. And earlier in the year, when I was talking to Spartan, Steve and some of the course people, they were like, yeah, dude, this is going to be the championship of championships. We're going to have like tons of obstacles. It's going to be a spectacle. That's what I was hoping for. And then we showed up and there were like 6 obstacles.
River needs to say something extremely important. What's up, River? Come on over here.
What do we got?
He left. Okay. He was going to say something important and now he left.
I'm intimidating. I understand.
You want to talk to Veejay Jones, the current 3K world champ? Sorry, the current Spartan world champion. Remember how it used to be Atkins and stuff? Those days are over. It's now.
That's it.
Veejay Jones.
So, what were we talking about?
You were saying
I had to get ready for the 3K, and I chose to get ready for that. Right. But when I arrived, I was like, okay, the more obstacles, the better. Like, obstacles will separate me from this field. I didn't think I was the best runner there. And then there was like a multi-rig.
Who's the best runner there?
Honestly, Eugenio was moving better than most anyone there. There were a couple guys that were moving quick, but then they couldn't pick up the sandbags, which really surprised me because we knew this was coming all year, and the bags were lighter. They were really light.
Lighter than Philly, or what was that heavy one? Palmerton?
Yeah. They were like 45 pounds each. You just pop them up on your shoulder, like it was fine. Yeah, and the guys were standing there like spending like 8-10 minutes trying to get the bags around the sandbag carrier, and I was like, that really sucks. But I didn't really feel bad because we knew it was coming all year. But the only thing was like there's a double sandbag and there's a multi-rig. Everything else didn't really mean anything. I guess the laser pistol meant something. That was a big
Right.
time separator. But I was expecting, like, I wanted a rope climb, a Herc hoist, a Z wall, twister and multi-rig and monkey bars. Like, I wanted to see the whole thing because that would have looked wild to see people just bouncing in and out of obstacles the whole time.
Right.
And we didn't get that. So I was a little more nervous than I originally thought. Like when I was on my flight over there, I'm like, I'm going to win this shit. No problem. It's not even going to be close. And then we started, like, when I got to the course, I was like, dang, like this might actually be an issue. Like I might not have enough obstacles to separate myself from guys that are fitter than me right now. Somehow we ended up actually moving okay on the sand. Like, made a last minute shoe change to kind of get a little more.
Would you go with? Because I know you've like handmade shoes before.
Yeah. So I actually brought a couple different pairs of trail shoes. Like, you're just gonna feel out what works. All of them sucked.
Really?
I had the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 that I brought for DEKA Fit. And I tried them out and they were 10 times better than any of the trail shoes I had. Just like the extra surface area made me like bounce out of the sand so much better.
Right.
Went with it. It wasn't going to be great on obstacles or anything, but there weren't really any obstacles to have to contend with footwear. So yeah, went with that. Ran pretty well in the sand. And I knew, like, if you got to the sandbags first in the final, that was a huge leg up because they brought all the bags out of the containers after the qualifying round because it was just everyone was just waiting in line to get a bag. So when they took them all out, they still put them in a pile on the ground. So everyone just piled around the same pile instead of like spreading them out the way they did in Mexico. So I was like, I need to be one of the first two people to get there. And then you get like a free 5-6 seconds on anyone not in the top two. So that was the plan. It worked out, got separation right away, and then just kind of hung in.
Well, I want to pull up the results here. And what we're looking at is we're just looking at the final here. And the thing that jumps out to me when I look at this, the top 20, you know what jumps out to me first?
No.
Number one, you are younger than almost everybody by a lot for
Nice.
some. Number two, not another American until uh someone who didn't make the qualifying final, Rylan, who still didn't make.
Mhm.
So 0 Americans. Good or bad for OCR? 0 Americans besides Veejay in the top 20.
Well, there were only 2 Americans in the elite field at that
Right.
race.
Okay, so you and Rylan were the only two. So what do you think? Is that good or bad for OCR?
I don't know. I mean, it's like in this racing style, I'd say the other countries are actually more suited to it. If I had to pick, like, who was going to fill out the top 20, I'd probably only pick like a few Americans, maybe, that were going to finish in the top 20. Like the rest of them are going to get outworked on a typical 3K course, I think, if there's more obstacles. This specific one, like, it really was an engine race, and Rylan was the person I was the most concerned about going into this because he had just run a killer high rocks, just won a couple DEKA events. He's confident and he's really fit.
Also young.
Also young, right? He had the best potential to upset me, I think. And when he didn't make the final, I felt really bad for him because he deserved. He was an athlete that could, and like, he would have been on the podium. I'm convinced of that. But when he fell off the rig, it was like really unfortunate, but also it was kind of like, okay, that was my biggest concern, and he's off the table now. And now it was like, okay, like, no big deal. I can
So
handle this.
so off the top of my head, Kempson and Sean, how do you think they would have done?
Um, I don't think Sean would have done well at this event. Um, just like, yeah, I mean, he might have been able to run well in the sand, but it's so hit or miss. Like some people just do it well and some people don't. But also, don't see him picking up sandbags and being able to move with them. Like,
Really?
well, it's Savage Race. You got to pick
He
up like a 20-pound log and run around with it. Like there's nothing you have to actually carry in that event. Sure,
but
there's a
he's
lot
not
of
but
rigs.
he's not like a little he's not like a waif. He's
How many people do you see that look fit and then just crumple underneath the weight of a sandbag? If you looked at the starting lineup, would you have picked me as like one of the better carriers in that event? Probably not.
right, but you're not. I'm trying to think of a super thin guy. I can't think of any because our sport actually doesn't lend itself to them. But it's I don't know. Okay, so what about Kempson? And I don't know why I haven't talked to Kempson. Kempson is a mystery, as we all know. I don't know
Yeah,
why he's skipping these if he's anti-Spartan, but assuming he's top
he's
fitness,
just not prepared.
where do you so
Um,
but let's assume that okay, so where would you put him? Where would you put him in
I
this?
think Kempson would have probably been an animal in this.
Mm,
He would have capitalized on the obstacles, and he will sell out. Like he can hurt like no one else.
mm.
And no matter what it takes, like he would have been at the front of that race until he wasn't, basically. Like he would have been running to win right up until the last moment. So um I think this would have lended it really well to him. So
I, well,
I can't say where he would have finished because I just don't really know. But I think he would have been in the equation like a good shot at podium for sure. If not, like he would have been challenging for the win. Um, I'd like to think that I would have been able to break him at some point, but it would have been a hard fight.
I want to go back to this because again, we always forget about you, VJ, because you started so young. But this really spells it out for me. I'm going to read this to people. Uh, VJ Jones, 25. Second, Pavel. How do you say his last name?
Pavel Hrdina.
Just like it looks, 35. So a decade older. Ryan Atkins, 36. Leon Kofed, 32. Peter Vinicki, 39. Sergei Pereligan, 33. We don't get anyone in their 20s till Eugenio. Then Manuel, who's, wait for it, 43. Old man, LeBron James, Tom Brady-esque shit going on. Jean-Marie Savini, 35. Finally, another 20-year-old in Jan Vlader. Angel, again, a contender, 35. Samuel, 37. It's not close. Like, if someone looked at the sport, they'd be like, huh, where's the future going? Well, clearly this guy is the best in the world at this distance and is younger than these guys by a lot.
A little bit.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think we know, like, are Atkins' days over? Of course not, right? Are Leon's days over? Of course not. But they're definitely closer to the end than the beginning. Kempson, same thing, right? Kent is not even an OCR racer anymore. He's like mid-30s, right? Like I'm just trying to think off the top of my head who's left
Mhm.
in the field to be good obstacle racers. Um, we've lost a bunch over the years, right? We lost Woods. We've lost other guys that aren't coming back. The
Yeah.
old guard is definitely not coming back, right? The Hobie
I
Cody guys, those guys are long gone.
I'd say in like 4 years, you're gonna see like if Hawk sticks with it, you're gonna see Hawk.
Well, that was the hope, right? Hawk and what's his buddy's name?
I don't know, but like Hawk, Rylan, and myself are all in the position to kind of like fight it out for the next decade if we wanted to. Um, it's just like, what does this sport look like in 3 years?
Well,
That's
I haven't
that's
talked
like
I haven't talked to Hawk. Somebody please remind me the name of this fucking guy. I'm gonna get text on this when this episode
what, like
airs.
Blaze.
No, those two guys, they came out together and it was like, oh, there's the future.
Well,
It, it,
Hawk and
it
his buddy Blaze Miller or something.
not
That
not
was the only
Blaze. It was
person
it
I
was a, it was a
knew.
Utah race that he was top 3 or top 5, and it was like these are the guys. This was right before COVID. This was like 2019.
Oh,
I'll
I
look
have
it up
no
in a minute.
idea.
It'll come to me. Anyway,
Oh,
So
Ryland
then,
top 3 there, right? He like had a
but it
big
wasn't
race.
Ryland. But it wasn't Ryland. It was another guy. It'll hit me. But COVID came, and then fucking we barely got out of COVID, and then the fucking 3K started. So now we're back to normal distances, air quotes. But are those guys still going to come around? Are people going to care enough about OCR? I think Ryland's going to keep doing everything. He clearly likes doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your plans are. I guess we'll get to that. But there's no there's no American women in the top.
There were
No
no
American.
American women.
Zero. Wow.
They weren't there.
Zero.
Yeah, we wanted to put a team together, like Ryland, Chris, and myself. We won the team race last year.
Where's
in
Chris?
US. What?
Why do you guys drag Chris over with you?
She didn't want to go.
She want to be waiting on that Spartan money, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I was on my flight to Abu Dhabi, and I got paid from last year's World Championships.
Let's go. Bill.com came through.
Yeah. So they made us sign up for this whole new payment system, and then they use the old Bill.com system
my
anyway.
My wife thinks it's me. No, sorry. It's Veejay. Veejay got paid. We're owed some money through Bill.com as well. My wife got excited. I'm really sorry, honey. we're owed some affiliate money.
Yeah, I got about 27 grand.
Dude, no wonder you're in such a good mood. No wonder you want a podcast. You're like, fuck yeah, man, let's roll.
No, like that's money I don't have. That's money I'm waiting on.
You just said it's coming.
No, I mean it'll probably be another year. Yeah, no, for sure. Just in time for Christmas next year. I'll have some money dropped in.
I'm so sorry. My wife is going to be so mad because we've been waiting on our on our affiliate money. Oh man, I just checked our email just to be safe. So you got last year. What were you owed from last year? Like 40 or something? Something huge.
Nah, just the team race.
You were owed 8.
So no, I had 10 from the, what was it? The series. I was owed 10 from the series. I got that earlier this year. And then from the World Championships, it was like 1,600 or something for like my split of the team race winnings. And then that just dropped in. But yeah, we're still waiting on.
I thought remember when we talked before, you said I'm owed 8. They'll pay me because if they owe me 28, it's better than owing me 8. Do you not remember that conversation we had?
Yeah, I mean, it is more leverage. I could like.
But I'm saying, but did you legally but did you get the 8 though? The first 8?
No, I got 1,000 of it basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on some.
Okay. Well, I think
How about Leon though? How about Leon popping a top 4 at the World Championships, dude?
Dude. I mean, we all knew that like if he's going to win, that's the place he's going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really,
there was just way too much. There's way too much running in this event. Like there was just not enough obstacles. There should have been like 12, 13 obstacles per lap, and there was just none. Like realistically, it was 2 obstacles that like separated the field at all. So I felt kind of bad. I especially felt bad for Ida, because like if there were more obstacles in that race, like I would have put my money on her every day of the week. And it's just like
she was also 4th.
Mm-hmm. There was just only one obstacle for her to really like capitalize on and use her skill set, and it was, yeah, kind of a bummer.
Skipping over to the 21K, you didn't even do it.
Nope.
Ryland had a bad race, 9th.
Ryland just did so much.
Balin Bean, did you have him in the draft? 21st.
I didn't do any drafting.
Corey Edwards, my main man. I'm 38th. Congratulations. Corey Edwards, big fan of the show.
Love that dude.
38th in the world. Muzzle tough, my friend. Way to drop in with the elites, buddy. All right, so the Americans had 3 spots out of 50, and Atkins another championship for him.
There you go.
See, this is how I'm so out of it, dude. I was at DEKA Worlds, then I was in fucking England for this thing called Ethics. Like I barely even knew what happened in Abu Dhabi. Like, oh, Greg Basilico, Nikolai Dam. Like I just realized that they came in second and third.
Nikolai was so stoked, dude. When he came across that line, I heard stories of him being like really emotional, like finally getting like a Spartan World Championship podium. Like he's been very consistent and he's been right outside that region. Like he's had a number of like top 5 finishes at OCR Worlds and
like I don't like I sorry, he's a great guy and I agree. And yes, I don't even know these people. Third place for the women, Sandy Menchie Abahan, Michelle Pieri, even Jack Bauer does not know these people. Not well. Tetiani Maltseva. I do not know these people.
wait, what is Dubai?
UKR?
Ukraine?
No, I think UKR is let's Google what UKR stands for.
Ukraine. There's a Dubai in Ukraine.
No, there is not.
Well, why does it say Dubai, Ukraine?
Let's type it. Let's see. I don't fucking know.
Oh, they probably meant to put UAE and somehow put UKR. That's the only way I could imagine that.
Probably.
So someone from Dubai in the top 5. Good for them.
Yeah, and you know, there hasn't been I haven't had a lot of OCR, you know, content lately. This race is a big race, but you know, our audience is mostly American. And so if there's not a lot of American racers in it, there's not a lot for us to talk about or that people are interested in, since the only Americans are you and my buddy Corey Edwards that did well over there.
Dude, should be interviewing Corey right now. Get his take.
What about the night Super 10K? Any Americans do that?
I did. Let's see. I actually would have won the Super,
but
I didn't have a timing chip.
So you ran it for funsies?
Yeah, I ran it for funsies on Sunday. I went out like and just had a good time, stopped for pictures. Like Jack Goris met me on a couple obstacles and a couple of photographers made me do some photo shoots on a couple things. And I was just chilling. And I was in like 15th place or something, just like jogging along. And then halfway through that race, everyone just kind of gave up and started like really falling apart. And I just started passing people until right at the end. The last like 2 miles I ran with this guy. Oh, I forget his name. But we were like chatting, having a great time. And we started rolling up on like the Iranian team. And they were like, and their coach was like really cheering them on, trying to get them to win this. And they saw like me and this other guy coming up. And we just started picking them off. And by the end, like I ended up crossing the line first, which was kind of funny. But it was a good time. Had a good time out there in the dunes. Pretty cool. Glad it wasn't that first year in Abu Dhabi though. That would have been terrible. But yeah, there you go. Abu Dhabi, Spartan World Championships.
Who are these Czech teams? The Czech team beat a badass Slovakian team of Peter Senega, Jan Vladar, and Etzer Herzegovia.
Yeah, but look at
and the famous Danes, Nikolai Ida Leon.
So the Danes would have destroyed everybody. Except unfortunately, Nikolai made an error on the rig and fell off of it.
No.
I think I was starting like a movement out there. So a lot of people were grabbing the straps above the ropes.
Oh boy.
And I started telling everybody, like, if you see anybody grab the straps above those ropes, you need to immediately tell them that they're soft. Okay. Right. Someone came up, said, I grabbed the straps. And I was like, you're soft. And someone else came by. I was like, but I was using the straps. And I'm like, you're soft too. And that's okay. But it's within the rules. So whatever. But also, like, I'm pretty sure Nikolai was using the straps. And he needed to. He's been focusing on running. And then when it came to the team race, for some reason, he thought it'd be smart to try to actually grab the ropes this time.
Didn't want to be soft.
Didn't want to be soft. And I don't know if like it was something I said or if he just felt like he wanted to do that, but he was not the man to grab those big girthy black ropes, and he couldn't hang and he fell off. And they went way back. And then Ida came out and ran the fastest 1K loop. Like, I never would have expected her to move that quick. If she had those wheels on the Friday before, she would have destroyed everybody. It was crazy. She was moving across the sand. She crushed all the obstacles. She was hoofing it with the sandbag. I think that 1K split probably would have beat a lot of the men's times. It was fast. And she got them back into third, I think.
Yeah.
And then Leon like came and was able to close it out with a really, really fast run as well. But they were just too far disconnected to try to get back into any kind of contention. But they were so quick, like across the whole thing. Like Nikolai was basically tied for the lead when he lost it. And then Ida and Leon just lit it up out there. So what could have been?
Did they stick you on commentary by chance? I tried watching some of the live stream, but I couldn't hack it.
I told them I wanted to do some commentary for the Beast, and they said, yeah, we'll bring you in for like a half hour. And then I went on there and I chatted with Steve for a second. They have a producer there, and the producer feels the need to like talk to you every time he's going to change cameras. And it's really distracting. I'm not used to that.
Right.
But I only got like less than 10 minutes in, like 7 minutes in, before Watson got bored and wanted his seat back. So honestly, dude, like the service and the signal that they had there was so good. If the OCR report had access to that, I think the production value would have just gone so far up. Like great footage of both of the races. And but it's just like the comment, you almost had to put it on mute. I spoke to a number of people that just put the 3K on mute. They didn't even want to hear it.
Well, I got to say that definitely the first time I worked for Tough Mudder and I'm talking and someone is in my ear telling me something else and I have to process that information, like you're like, oh shit, this is actually quite hard, especially someone like myself who's very ADD, right? And a good producer only talks to you when they need to. Hey, as you're wrapping up, we're going to be bringing Lindsay in. Get ready for that. Or, hey, we're about to cut over to the sideline reporter. They don't need to tell you every time the fucking camera changes. Like, that's not even necessary.
Dude, it was very frustrating.
It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, but I did not expect world level, you know, NFL or even Spartan NBC level graphics. But I want to know how the race is going. And if I don't want to watch the whole thing, like, let me skip a little bit. They'll show me a little graphic, right? Nothing. Skip a little bit, little graphic. All right. Well, who's the top 10? I'll just go to the very end. And at the very end, it'll be Steve and Dave going, all right, let's recap the top 10. Because that's not hard. That's not expensive. That's the most basic fucking thing you can do on a sports report. Nope. It's Dave and Steve going, okay, guys, see you tomorrow. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So,
dude.
So what Jason does with the OCR report is great, right? It's like what a sports thing should be. The fact that a lot of times they've actually worked with the Spartan timing team and gotten splits up and all that really good stuff that Jason does is phenomenal, right? And like shows like what is possible for our sport if they were to either pay Jason or pay the equivalent of him on their team to do that stuff, right? So the fact that you could have even fucking like written it on a sheet of paper and held it up, I would have been fucking thrilled. Because now I got to go find the live feed, and I know it's fine now, and I know the all the stats are up now, but a lot of times they're not. You can't find it. You got to go to the UK version of the website to find the current stat. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like you can't just recap the top 10. You can't like that is the like. If you've paid for any production at all, there's nothing extra to go, hey, by the way, at the end of this, go to our timing team and extrapolate and throw those graphics up. That's a 1 second job.
Pretty especially a lot of those things were ready to go because they had the timing boards up. so that you could see like in between the rounds, like who qualified to the next one. They had everything like up there. So the things were already ready to go. You take a screenshot,
I'm seriously,
you
that's what
text
I'm
it over.
saying. That's what I'm
It was
saying.
really
Like
easy.
the
Yeah.
most basics. Again, even for Spartan, our standards are so low. It's like, can you throw us a bone? Like, can you please throw us a bone? So, yeah, dude. Will they ever spend money? Will they spend money this year? Will they hire Jason? Will they hire anybody? I don't know.
Not likely. I mean, if they can't even afford to shell out the couple grand that they owe to some athletes, like spending money on anything, I don't know. I don't see it happening unless a big sponsor can come in and be like, we're going to sponsor like the Elite Series, and we're going to make sure that coverage is good. We're going to develop the athletes again. Like basically someone to step into the role of that Reebok had years ago. Because as soon as Reebok left, it's just been downhill since then. So we need like, they should just go back to Reebok and be like, please,
Listen,
please, will you come back?
we know that like you're on the outs with everybody. CrossFit hates you now. Everybody hates you now. Come on, come on. You're wearing a Reebok top, it looks like.
This is OG, dude. This is the only photo shoot I ever did for Reebok. I got this thing given to me. I think this was the prototype. They hadn't even had it out yet. And I took some pictures in it in Seattle, my first pro event. Loved it. I still have it, man. Talk about quality. Reebok.
Well, hey, let's talk about
Call me, man.
the last time you and I talked. I think the headline was "I'm poor." I think that was the I think that was the screenshot. I'm poor, Veejay Jones. So you're a world champion, right?
Yep.
I see Roca loves you, right? So that's at least one new sponsor, right?
They're not a sponsor. They just wanted to post
Just
my video, and I thought, oh, you got a 200,000 followers. Like, yeah, they're sending me a couple pairs of glasses, which is
it's a
nice.
start. Okay, yeah, I get it,
We're
man. Not
hoping, yeah. And
right.
I'm trying to work on a couple little relationships here and there, but it's like the one of the biggest things, right? I just won Spartan Race World Championships.
Right,
Okay. Big moment in my career.
right.
I can't show people that. I have some videos that, you know, Tamara and other people took videos on their phones of me around there. I don't have any professional footage from it. I have some good photos that Jack took.
I was gonna say Goris.
Goris.
Right.
Goris took some great shots like he always does.
Right. You at the finish line with the thing, probably one of those.
Yep, that one's great. I threw
Right.
that up, got a lot of interaction. But like one of my friends said, I saw you on the World Championships. How cool. And I'm like, you want to see it? And he's like, yeah. I put the coverage up for a minute and I skipped through most of the final because like I don't have anything to actually show and be like, look at this, look how badass. Like
Right.
it looked so unimpressive. What should have been like a big moment for me to be able to share every one of my world championships, no one's been able to see it. Like the 3K and Stratton, both of those, the coverage was just the signal was so bad we couldn't actually see anything. You're just spending, it's just so glitchy and everything. It could have been great, but
in 21, I think you had two shots at it. You had ORM and OCR report. We
that's
all
right.
knew it. Nobody had signal.
It's just there's no service on the mountain. So then we get to this venue, we got great service, and then
Right.
production is just so bad that it's just like, oh, you barely get to see anything and you don't know what's happening and you don't know where anyone is. When Pavel caught me, they didn't know. They thought I was lapping him. It took them a minute to figure out, and they're like, "Oh, wait. Oh, good. Oh, wow. He's challenging for the lead. I didn't notice. I was too busy
Right.
chatting with you about whatever the fuck I was talking about."
Right. And I think even the idea, and I know we're beating a dead horse here, but even the idea of if you blow the live coverage, you've got enough like decent footage that you can do the post show and make that one. Because remember they did that. I can't even remember what year, and people were like, well, this is actually pretty good. Like we didn't see it live, but they just took the GoPro and added a couple graphics and added some commentary, the live to tape thing with Magida and whatever, like that you could show sponsors or whatever. But it's like, hey, I'm a world champion, but here's a drone shot from 8 miles away and two guys with English accents, singing nonsense for 3 hours.
Yeah, like I liked the post production in like 2022. That was nice. And they dropped it like later that day or the next morning. Sure, you know what's going on, like what already happened, but you still got like at least a good product to be able to follow along and see what's going on and get cool shots. like probably the best coverage I have that I can send to a sponsor or like someone that's not really educated in the sport wants to see what's going on is San Luis Obispo. That San Luis Obispo race was great to watch. It was fun. There were lead changes. You got to see all the obstacles. You saw everything that happened in the race. And that was the post-production one.
Right.
And that was fine. I think they should just go back to that, and you can do it really well, because then you're not counting on service. You're not counting on anything like that. That would be ideal for sure. I'd be down for that. Yeah. And since I'm not going to be doing most of the U.S. National Series, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. Put me in the commentator's booth, or put me on as a on-site reporter or something. I don't know. Like, get me out there, man.
Well, I can't afford to send you out there, but if you go, but if you happen to go, I certainly would love to have you help, and I'm sure the OCR report would as well. They would probably want you as a rabbit, I'm guessing, because you're fast.
Maybe, but like the first 2 events of the year, I'm actually going to be at other events at the same time, so I kind of have to like figure out if I'm actually.
Which events will that be?
I have my calendar right here. Hold on.
Let's get your 2024 calendar.
Yeah.
He's got a big calendar.
I got this big calendar. It's pretty sweet. Got it from Venga. It's got my whole year on it. Let's see here. So the first race in the U.S. National Series next year is the 5K sprint in Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida, home of OCR.
Absolutely. It's the same weekend as Tough Mudder Infinity in Alula.
What can you tell us about that event?
That event is an 8-hour race with many different competitive divisions, paying out the biggest prize purse in OCR history to the elites and the age group categories. How exciting.
Are you racing as a team or an individual?
I am racing with a stellar, star-studded team. Our team name is actually the A Team, okay. Which is pretty exciting. Myself.
Not very original, but okay.
You know what? Not everything has to be a new idea. Okay. Anyway, myself, Leon Kofod, Manuel Defoe, Nikolai Dam. All right.
So three countries, yes. 4 men.
One podium
badass
spot.
Team. Nobody's run. Has anyone run for 8 hours?
We don't have to run for 8 hours.
I'm just asking if anybody's.
That's why we're being a team. So I'd say Nikolai is the Danish long trail champion. He is very good at running for very long periods of time. So he has that experience. Leon was very competitive this year. Manuel, obviously, North American Series champion, very competitive this year. Myself, I did okay this year in some events. So we're gonna come out.
Here's what I'm excited about. What I love about a long distance event, right? World's Toughest specifically, is a lot of people come with big goals and big balls, right? And then the weather comes and the obstacles open and crazy shit happens, and they're giant balls, just like, right? And they find out they're holding, what's that line from Snatch or whatever? That your guns say replica on them, and mine say, and you've got tiny little balls. So, and guess what? They find out, they get their ass smacked, and it's kind of awesome. We go, welcome to the world of endurance racing. Now, here's the good thing about the 8 hour. It's not night. It's not cold. And it's only 8 and it's not 24. However, just because Veejay Jones, Manuel Defoe, Nikolai Dam, Leon Kofod, just because you're not running for 8 hours, it doesn't mean the toll of the time on feet and the time that's passing doesn't weigh. And that little niggle in the left knee, because you landed funny, right? The little tweak in the back, that you felt when you went over an obstacle, like those fucking things add up. So
What are you trying to say, man?
I'm trying to say that it's not as easy as I go, you go, this is fun and fast, and we're going to easily breeze our way through. So I'm just saying, you and the other 4-person teams, I wish you guys could have just seen Veejay's face. You and the other 4-person teams are going to find out what it's like to dance for more than, an hour.
When I finish this race, when our team crosses that line in first,
yes,
okay, I am going to do my first interview with you. And I'm going to say, we had a great time. I went, he went. What a great time it was for 8 hours. So
you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
I do. There's like time adds consequence. And
absolutely.
The more time you're racing, the more things can go wrong.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And with more people, more things can go wrong, right? Like a 2-person team has less to worry about than a 4-person, because any one of you could have the knee niggle, could start throwing up, could whatever. Again, I'm not wishing you ill will. I'm just saying it's a whole different ball game. And the first 4 hours even will probably seem easy to everybody. And then it might get, who knows? I think
Ill Will should be a rapper name. Is there an Ill Will?
Ooh, maybe that could be my rapper name.
There you go.
Because there's a couple of other 4-person teams, right? CBJ's put one together. Other people are messaging. And here's the other thing that I'm noticing. People are like, where can I go where there isn't a lot of competition? And I'm like, isn't this the time to go where the competition is? So here's a point. Let me get your thoughts on this, Veejay Jones, world champion. There are no genders, okay, for the teams. It's first, second, third, period. 4-person, 2-person. So someone's like, well, why isn't there a women's? That's not fair. I say the exact opposite. It is 100% fair. It's your chance to show how good you are. And I would put dollars to donuts that a co-ed 2-person and a co-ed 4-person could find their way on the podium with the right people, because it's not going to be a ton of, there's not going to be 100 of them, right? Because women at endurance, guess what? It gets
a lot closer.
We all know women that have outright won ultras. We know that Chris, whoever the women's world's toughest champ is, beats like all but 10 of the guys, right? So it's a great place for a co-ed team to show up. And I know of at least one, but I hope a bunch show up, because you could make the podium and prove how fucking good you are at endurance.
The only thing is that there's so much money on the line for the individual that everyone that thinks they got any kind of endurance for that kind of time, they're shooting their shot. They're hoping they can do it. So it's like, that's what we kind of ran into when we were talking teams was, okay, who's going to be good at this kind of thing? Oh, they're doing individual. They're doing individual. They're doing individual. And we're like, oh, well, and the weird thing is with the 4-man team, it's not really a 4-man team. It's still a 2-man team, because 2 people have to run together at all times. So it's not like, oh, we're each doing 2-hour stints. It's that we're each doing 4 hours of it. So the 4-man team doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why it exists. Like versus the 2-man team.
So in the early days of World's Toughest, there were no team prizes at all. And then by the second year, they're like, wait a minute, we should have a man, woman, and team prize, because Tough Mudder is such a team event. And so I think it was initially 4, then they did 4 or 2. And when it really got wacky was when the 2-person could literally like trade. And now you've just defeated the whole purpose. So in 2021, those guys got like 125 miles, and it was like, and they were running by themselves the whole time. So you can't do that. So now the 2-person team, you run every lap together. The 4-person team, you run the first and the last all together, and the other one's at least 2, which I think is fine. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So the 2-person team isn't individual either.
Right.
So there's both are doing 8 hours. They just have to do it together.
Right.
Okay. That's different. I didn't know about that.
So that's
wow.
But I think there's some people who are kind of hiding out, waiting to like pop up and do that one. And no, I definitely understand why you would want to do a team that's like the team that's as strong as yours or as strong as CBJ's. Like, I think they make sense.
What's CBJ?
Christian Brown Johnson. He's gotten over 100 multiple times on World's Toughest. And
Who's the rest of his team?
Let's pull it up. Hang on, I've got the master list. Never has there been a better time for an Excel Google Doc than this current job I have as, let's see. There's a hang on, where the fuck is it?
Well, while you're doing that, let me tell the people.
Christian Brown Johnson, Elliot Ramsey, Jacob Campbell, Scotty Johnson. Those are a bunch of TM Infinity vets.
Yeah, but are they Manuel Defoe?
They're not Manuel Defoe.
Are they Veejay Jones?
You guys would be favorites. You guys would be, I would put you at plus, what'd you be minus 250?
Whatever number you want to put on it. We're coming in and we're coming in confident. All right. We're going to come out of a nice little off-season volume block. We're going to be doing multiple sessions a day. We're going to be over prepared for this. Okay. And then we're going to come out. We're going to throw down. Manuel and I are going to be doing laps together. We're going to get to know each other really well.
So will there be any trading of, or just you and Manuel and then the other two?
I think there will be trading if the need arises. Say someone gets one of those little, I got a little pain in my ankle, I'm not going to be able to move as quickly. I'll be like, let me step up. Let me take this load off your shoulders for the team.
I have a question for you, Veejay Jones.
Yes.
Have you done a Tough Mudder?
No, this is my first Tough Mudder. I'm flying all the way to the other side of the world for my first Tough Mudder.
Can you name 5 Tough Mudder obstacles?
Funky Monkey.
Yes, that's one.
Something, water enema or something.
Okay, half a point for that one.
Okay. I know what they look like. I don't know the names though. How about the one where you got to go over the Tetris blocks that are rotating in the water? Block water rotation.
Okay, I'll give you a full point because you named Arctic Enema without saying it, and you described Block Nest Monster. So now
Block Nest Monster.
Now you're up to two obstacles. So now you need 3 more. So just try to think of regular obstacles from any race, and that might help.
Okay.
What's in every race?
8-foot wall.
Okay, there you go. Berlin walls. Boom. There you go. What's next?
Berlin walls. Okay. Shoot, dude. A sandbag carry.
Not typical. That was a penalty in this one. They don't really do that.
Dang it. Okay. What else? There's
okay. See if you could put you this way. I'll tell you what the obstacle is, and then you just if I ask you to guess the name, just always think sexual innuendo. So you have to
love that. Great.
Right. So
do sexual innuendos go over well in Saudi Arabia?
We're gonna find out. So they don't do a sandbag carry, but there's typically a log carry. So what would you do if that was gonna be sexual innuendo? What would a log carry be called?
Like heavy wood or something.
Hold your wood.
Hold your wood. Hey,
all right, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Dude, that one where you climb up the cargo net while they're dropping water on you or something, or in the tube or something, that looks gnarly.
So that is Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka.
Oh, nice. Of course. Okay. Of course it is. Why wouldn't I think of that?
Right. What else? See, I think this is like the most fun we've had, like you trying to guess Tough Mudder obstacles.
Yeah. Shoot. So there's like pits. You got to get through like these pits, and a lot of times you got to teamwork yourself. Right. What was it called? Like pit stain or something.
There's the cough I was telling you about. Just passed out for a second.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. So
Tough Mudder obstacles. They got fun names, and I've never seen them before. So first lap is going to be a learning experience as a team, all 4 of us learning Tough Mudder. I don't know if any of us have done a Tough Mudder actually.
Leon has to have. I feel like Leon has to have.
No, I think I would bet that none of us have done Tough Mudder, and it could have been like, man, we could have been like Mudder Virgins or something. That would have been a good team name or something. That would have been kind of fun.
When you hang out with Leon, do you try to hit him up for? He's good at getting the sponsors. Did you talk to him some about trying to fill your goodie bag this year?
No.
No, he'd be a good guy to talk to.
He doesn't strike me as someone that wants to share.
I think he would.
But then again, I haven't asked either.
Well, you're not asking him to introduce him to your sponsors. Just say, hey, what are some of the things you've done? Like he's got good Instagram.
Well, he really leans into the Instagram and the influencer side of things, and I don't know. I feel weird about that sometimes. The only way that I feel good about doing some influencer content would be to do it as a satire. Right. Like that's the only way that it makes sense to me. Like I started noticing all these people doing the fake podcast clips, like it make it look like they're on a podcast like this, and then they promote their product on the podcast or something. So I was like, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that with Nesquik. And I'm going to make it seem really healthy and stuff. So that's the only way I can see, like, I don't know, like convince myself that that's like, that I want to do that. But I guess it's the game. You got to play the game if you want to survive this. So I'll probably start doing some more stuff, but I really want to lean more into YouTube. I just don't think like the growth is really there on Instagram for me, because there was a time when I was growing a ton on Instagram, right? Like every year I was gaining thousands of followers of just consistently posting, putting my stuff out there. And then something changed. I don't know what happened, but I went standstill. My interaction cut to a third of what it was, and I got no followers. And it all stopped. I wouldn't get any growth. And then I would go through stints of really posting hard, and I would almost see my numbers drop. So I don't really understand it. So yeah, I don't really know. I think 2024, I'm going to really try to put out a lot of YouTube content and see if we can get rolling on there a little bit.